as we achieve a historic transformation in Venezuela, we're also looking forward to the great change that will soon be coming to Cuba. Cuba's at the end of the line. They're very much at the end of the line. They have no money, they have no oil.
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And listen, well, we all know our favorite bird-legged hoe was just fired a few days ago from DHS, Department of Homeland Security. And we're wondering, where did she land? But where is she supposed to be going? Trump said something about the shield of the Americas, and we had no idea what that was. Well, yesterday, if you blink, you missed it. I thought maybe you should know. He had 12 people from Central and South America, 12 leaders, show up to Mar-a-Lago. And nobody covered it. Nobody knows what it is. Well, I'd like to present to you now what I found from Al Jazeera, Miami, on a Shield of the Americas conference. And it's going to blow your socks off. Check it out.
U.S. President Donald Trump turned his attention to his own hemisphere, albeit for only an hour, at his Miami Golf Club, where he'd invited 12 conservative Latin American heads of state to hear about his new regional initiative. It's called Shield of the Americas, a newly formed U.S.-led alliance to stop undocumented mass immigration, crime and drug trafficking, and foreign interference in the hemisphere, a reference to China. Trump offered his guests lethal U.S. military force to hunt down criminals.
We'll use missiles. If you want us to use a missile, they're extremely accurate. Boom! Right into the living room. That's the end of that cartel person. But we'll do whatever you need if you want.
Right-wing governments were on hand to join what he's named Americas Counter-Cartel Coalition.
But conspicuously absent were the leaders of Latin America's two largest countries, Brazil and Mexico, the latter being the country from where the lion's share of drugs that go into the United States come from, not to mention Colombia and Peru, where almost all of the cocaine is produced. The problem is the leaders of those countries are not considered friends of the U.S.
And neither is communist Cuba, which he says is next on his list.
But our focus right now is on Iran, and we'll do that. I would say, what will you do, take about 2 days off, Marco? No, he won't. Maybe an hour. He'll take 1 hour off, and then he'll finish up a deal on Cuba.
There was no chance for the Latin American leaders to speak, only to listen.
We share a hemisphere and geography. We share cultures, Western Christian civilization. We share these things together. We have to have the courage to defend it.
A meeting that sent a clear message that the so-called Dunroad Doctrine offers some carrots as well as sticks to restore U.S. hegemony in the Western Hemisphere.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew, pew. Right in the living room. Pew, 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 pew. Right in the living room. If you want us to. Well, that's funny. That's funny. We'd know what they wanted if you allowed them to speak. What happened is he invited 12 people to speak at them. 12 world leaders to speak at them. This degenerate who is degrading in front of our eyes into a pile of orange paint on the ground is a child and parades himself as such to our embarrassment. But something else of note, every single time I hear Hegseth open his stupid mouth, he sounds like a 5th century king of England on a crusade. Every time he talks about culture, Christianity is the only thing he can think about. This shared culture, Christianity. Why we're bombing Iran? Christianity. He has a boner for a holy war. This is frightening, unacceptable. I find it concerning that every time he opens his mouth to talk about culture, Christianity is the only thing that comes out. He sounds like a pope of wartime. This is disturbing. Another thing of note is he was there for 1 hour before he had to go leave to go get the dignified remains of soldiers who died because of an illegal war he started. But before that, he just stopped off for a bit at Mar-a-Lago to threaten more war, so more of us can go die for another unknown reason, because these countries aren't the ones that have anything to do with the drugs that we're supposedly trying to stop. Did you notice that? So while he was on his way to get the remains of soldiers who died because of a war he illegally started. He just stopped off on his way to threaten more before this one's even over with. We need him impeached now. The only reason why I even looked for this, because I straight forgot that Kristi Noem was supposed to be going to the Shield of the Americas. I just assumed he made some shit up to get rid of her. It's important because while they were doing this outside of Mar-a-Lago, our friends from the Removal Coalition, Cliff Cash, people from the Revolutionary Black Panther Party, American Opposition, the Owl Media were out there yelling outside of Mar-a-Lago. And even then, the news couldn't find themselves there. I mean, now we're sure, we know that they're not going to ever cover the resistance. But why not this? And even what we did see, believe it or not, was tame. Because, you know, what sparked my interest in trying to find more was what I saw on TikTok, not on regular news. For some reason, they didn't cover this part.
As we achieve a historic transformation in Venezuela, we're also looking forward to the great change that will soon be coming to Cuba. Cuba's at the end of the line. They're very much at the end of the line. They have no money, they have no oil. They have a bad philosophy, they have a bad regime that's been bad for a long time. I would think a deal would be made very easily with Cuba. But for 50 years I've been hearing, as a little boy, I'd be hearing about Cuba. You know, Cuba's a disaster. But I've been hearing so much about Cuba, but Cuba's in its last moments of life, as it was. It'll have a great new life, but it's in its last moments of life the way it is. So as the situations in Venezuela and Cuba should make clear under our new doctrine, and it is a doctrine, we will not allow hostile foreign influence to gain a foothold in this hemisphere. That includes the Panama Canal, as we talked about. We're not going to allow it. And together we'll protect our sovereignty, our security, and our cherished freedom and independence.
Oh, now that's different. That's different. Panama Canal? Cuba is dying? We're going to rebuild, have a new Cuba? What are you talking about? But while Hegseth is waging holy war on the world and bombs are in Iran, he's already thinking about the next place to topple. We already are in Ecuador. And when he says the example of Venezuela, are you telling Cuba you're going to go in there and take their leader too? What are you doing? Why is he in office, Congress? Until he is impeached, we're forced to have more countries being bombed like Iran. And until he is impeached, more heads of state will be absconded with. He's now threatening the Panama Canal in a way that actually is meaningful because he sees the brown people as less than. Greenland has way too many white people for him to do what he's been doing to the rest of the brown world. Until he is impeached and removed, this is what you can expect. While this decrepit orange paper statue is deteriorating in front of our eyes, as long as he still holds breath, every word he says will be an embarrassment and a threat to the entire world. Why is he still there, Congress? You can get him impeached. You can impeach him and convict him and get him out of there. And for those of us who aren't in Congress, you can go into your congressperson's office. You can go into the Capitol. Flair does it all the time. I went with them last year. They just got done doing it last month on the 28th. That was in D.C. But you can do it right where you are. You don't need an insurrection or flagpoles or gas masks or your stupid fucking red hat. You can just go in there and sign your name. You have the right to go into the people you hire to represent you and demand impeachment. Demand that they write up the articles or sign them that have already been written up by Al Green. Until we get rid of them, more bombs will kill more school kids. More countries in South America and Central America will be under threat. So while he was on his way to get the remains of soldiers who died because of a war he illegally started, he just stopped off on his way to threaten more before this one's even over with. We need him impeached now. Now would be great. And all of us need to be in those offices every day. We can do it. We need him impeached now.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're gonna pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads, it's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.